America had better tanks, better planes, better weapons, and one of the most powerful militaries in human history. Yet, 20 years after entering Vietnam, American helicopters were evacuating personnel from Saigon, which raises a disturbing question. How can the stronger side win almost every major battle and still fail? Because Vietnam exposed something uncomfortable. Wars are not always won by the strongest. Sometimes they are won by the side that understands the game better. Ask most of the people why America lost Vietnam, and they'll tell you the jungle, the tunnels, guerrilla warfare. But those were merely tactics. The real reason was far deeper. America and North Vietnam were fighting completely different wars. From the United States, Vietnam was about containing communism. For North Vietnam, it was about national reunification. One side was fighting to protect credibility, the other side believed it was fighting for its country's future. And history shows something remarkable. People fighting for survival often tolerate sacrifices that outsiders simply cannot imagine. Just something many people still misunderstand. Vietnam itself wasn't the prize. The real fear was what came after. American leaders believed in the domino theory. If Vietnam became communist, would Laos follow? Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. Washington feared that losing one country could reshape Asia. In other words, America wasn't fighting for Vietnam, it was fighting for the credibility of the entire Cold War system. Vietnam just happened to be where that battle took place. Common sense says stronger countries have more freedom. Vietnam proved the opposite. America couldn't invade China, it couldn't directly confront the Soviet Union, it couldn't risk nuclear escalation. North Vietnam faced no such restrictions, and suddenly, the stronger country became the more constrained country. This is one of history's strangest lessons. Power creates responsibilities, and responsibilities create limits. Sometimes strength itself becomes a weakness. North Vietnam never expected to defeat the United States military. That would have been impossible. Its leaders understood something far more important. Democracies have clocks, public opinions matter, elections matter, television matters, casualties matters, time matters. North Vietnam wasn't trying to destroy the American army, it was trying to outlast American patience, and patience became one of the most powerful weapons in the entire war. American commander relieved heavily on attrition. The idea seemed logical. Kill enough enemy soldiers, eventually the enemy collapses. But North Vietnam wasn't fighting for statistics. It was fighting for time. American generals counted bodies, North Vietnam counted years. America sought victory, North Vietnam sought endurance, and endurance turned out to be stronger than firepower. In 1968, North Vietnam launched the Tet Offensive military. It was disastrous. Communist forces suffered enormous losses. American troops repelled the attacks. On paper, America won, but psychologically, everything changed. Millions of Americans watching television saw a completely different story. If victory was close, how could the enemy launch attack across the country? Suddenly, trust began to collapse, and once people stop believing victory is possible, winning becomes almost impossible. The Tet Offensive didn't destroy American forces, it destroyed confidence, and confidence is harder to replace than soldiers. Most people think North Vietnam's greatest weapon was guerrilla warfare. It wasn't. its greatest weapon was willingness to suffer. North Vietnam accepted losses that would have been politically unthinkable in America. This created a brutal imbalance. America fought with machines, North Vietnam fought with determination. And history repeatedly shows that determination often matters more than technology. Vietnam wasn't unique. The Soviet Union faced the same trap in Afghanistan. America encountered it again in Iraq, and decades later, again in Afghanistan. Different enemies, different eras, same problem. Superior technology cannot guarantee political success because wars are not won by destroying armies, they are won by achieving objectives. And objectives are often psychological, not military. Here's what makes Vietnam so fascinating. America didn't lose because it lacked power. In many ways, it had too much. Power forced caution. Power created limitation. Power created expectations. While America focused on winning battles, North Vietnam focused on winning the war. Because military victory and political victory are not the same thing. And Vietnam proved that it's the harshest way imaginable. The Vietnam War teaches one of the history's most uncomfortable truths. The stronger side does not always win, because wars are not simply contests of weapons, they are contests of will, patience, objectives, and endurance. Sometimes the side willing to suffer longer prevails, and perhaps that's why, more than 50 years later, militaries around the world still study Vietnam, because great powers are still searching for an answer to the same question: how do you defeat an enemy whose greatest weapon is time itself?